Welcome to the Sweet Song Podcast, where we unwrap your favorite songs. I'm your host, Kristi Wooten, and this week a very special episode is coming your way. We have Mike Mills from R.E.M. and international concert violinist Robert McDuffie. The two have been friends for decades. We'll tell you how they met, what they've been up to, and why they keep collaborating on so many things over the years. Welcome to the Sweet Song Podcast. The opportunity to have Mike Mills and Bobby McDuffie in the same room to talk about music is incredible. R.E.M., of course, being one of the biggest rock bands in the world, and Robert McDuffie having performed with some of the world's top orchestras. He has worked extensively with Philip Glass. He has a wonderful story to tell us about Samuel Barber, and Mike will talk a little bit briefly about his new project, Howl Owl Howl. So let's get started. And welcome Mike and Bobby. We're here in Macon, Georgia at the Piedmont Grand Opera House, where you're going to be performing the Mills Concerto for violin, rock band, and orchestra, which I'm getting pretty familiar with over the years. Could y'all count? Do you know how many times you've played it?
No, I think we got up to close to 15 at least, but we're not sure.
Oh, more than that.
More than
Of the
15.
concerto?
Yeah.
No, we've done, I think, a lot more
Okay.
than that. Because we had that one tour of 15 concerts.
Oh, that's right. I
When-
forgot about the Fifth House tour. So yeah,
Right.
was
I'd say
yeah,
close to 50.
close to 50. Yeah.
You guys met in middle school, and you've been playing together off and on over the years. And in 2016, Mike, you put out this concerto. And why do you guys keep coming back to it? There's got to be something that draws you back together to do it every time.
I just like hanging out with Bobby. He says, "You want to do a concerto?" I said, "Can we have dinner?" He says, "Yes." I said, "Okay, I'll go."
Can we play golf?
We love it. It's fun. I mean, it's a fun thing to do, and it accomplishes one of our overriding goals. We don't sit there and dwell on it, but one of our overriding goals is to try to make classical music more open to people who have pre-existing notions about what classical music is. Now, not that what I did is classical music, it is purely not, but in some ways it's adjacent. So if people can use this as an entree into hearing other things that are more purely classical that they might enjoy, then I think we've really done a good thing.
I didn't grow up in Atlanta, but when the Fox Theater started really showing rock shows, I mean, it's had legendary rock shows, and you've got something called the Opera House here in Macon where we are, but your surroundings can house any type of music. I think Europe was way ahead of us on that because a lot of their best venues are multi-purpose, not necessarily just rock halls, but rock and classical can coexist in the same space.
Well, when I lived here in the 70s, I saw Muddy Waters here, and pretty sure I saw Count Basie here.
Here
Either Count
today.
Basie or Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. But yeah, so I mean, this place already means a lot of different things to me.
So I want to drill down on some music and talk to you guys about songs. Is there a song that y'all shared when you were younger that you remember back, like at the same time was your favorite song on the radio or anything like that?
Bobby had a copy of, which one? It was a Jay Giles.
We had Jay
band.
Giles and we had 25 or 6
Bloodshot,
before.
maybe, or
We had
something.
the Chicago album.
Yeah, so we listened to a lot of that on Sunday nights.
That's so fun. What is the first song for each of you to change your life? And it could be a classical composition. It could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll give you two. One, the first rock and roll song or pop song, I had a really worn out copy of Go Where You Want to Go by the Fifth Dimension. And I mean, obviously that's like 1966 or something. But I was also in a stage production of Aida at Theater Under the Stars in Atlanta when I was 9 years old. I was a street urchin and probably not even equipped for that role. But I had a great time. Rehearsals I still remember them. The show was unforgettable, and that music still, it takes me back. I mean, I think even if I hadn't done that, I would have loved Aida. But having been a part of it and heard that music so many times in that short time really, really brought it into my heart.
Wow, that's interesting you asked that question because his music has changed so many lives. That's an emotional thing. With me, it has to be the Samuel Barber Violin Concerto. I was a cocky Juilliard kid, only played the music of dead white European males. I entered a competition where the Samuel Barber Concerto was the required piece. I didn't know it. I asked a friend how it ended. He said, very fast. I said, good, I want applause. I just want people to clap for me. I won the competition, and then a mutual friend of Samuel Barber's, who was dying of melanoma at the time, asked me to go to his home and play the piece for him.
Wow.
And of course, cocky Bobby, shows up. Yeah, well, of course, I'm going to play for Samuel Barber. Anyway, I show up. I'm telling you, that's my life did change that night when I was in the middle of playing this piece. It may end fast, but it's an incredibly poignant, truly Americana, hard on sleeve, imperfect, but a genuine attempt at beauty. And I was playing that for the creator. And that's when I realized my role in music. It's not about me.
But you're gonna make me cry.
So that absolutely changed everything for me. Playing a great work for the creator, and that's when my whole career changed. I dedicated, even though I still played the standard repertoire, I wanted to play music of living American composers, and it was because of that one experience with Mr. Barber.
Hey, that's amazing, but you gotta tell me now what your favorite REM song is. What's your sweet song?
Oh my lord, good luck.
I don't have one. So, I mean, they're all, I love all my children equally, is, what I saw.
Bobby, you gotta have one.
Well, I have a couple. I mean, I I have a
Come
couple.
on.
No, it's when I'm on a plane and I have nothing else to do, I'll put on Imitation of Life.
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
just so when I'm tired of my book and I don't want to hear anything else, I'll just put on Imitation of Life. Because I remember talking to my kids when they were young about my friendship with Mike and playing music, and we just that's the song we played in the car for the kids. So obviously I love the song, but it also brings me back to family activity.
So I wanna know from both of you, reflecting on touring in your younger years and, Bobby, you and your role as a classical performer playing all around the world, Mike and his role as a member of REM, just musical experiences that stick out to you is kind of the first realization of, "Oh, this is a life. This is something that you've been called to, like, globally," both of you. I mean, very few musicians have had the global impact like you do and being called to the world.
Well, early on, it was certainly world domination was not in our plan, our game plan. We were just five friends in a van. I mean, it's the classic rock and roll lineup that you dream of: five young kids piling in a van and traveling the country and playing for anybody who will listen. And that's how you get good, or how you find out if you're not going to get good. You got to put it out there in front of people who don't know who you are, never heard you before. You have to prove yourself every single night, and that's terrifying and super fun and very gratifying when it does happen. So that was really, the every year, every tour, you get a little more people, you get a few more people coming out to see you. And that was just the build for us. And it was a lot of fun to be successful. Can go the other way, but it didn't. And we were real happy about that.
Yeah, I think it all comes from the same place. It doesn't really matter where you play. You still want to do right by, in their case, their own songs. And I guess I did a few covers as well, but it didn't matter. At the very beginning, I was just as excited about playing in Rolla, Missouri and staying at a Super 8 motel than I am playing in a larger hall. I'll never forget, I was passing through Eugene, Oregon, playing with their local orchestra, and I was speaking at halftime with the timpani player. And the timpani player said, "So, what's your next concert?" I went, "Well, actually, I'm playing at Carnegie Hall next week, and I'm very excited about it." He said, "You know what? This is my Carnegie Hall.
Aw.
This is my Carnegie Hall, and every night I play in Carnegie Hall." And you know what? That's so true. It doesn't matter. I remember, I got more nervous in Green Bay, Wisconsin than I did at Lincoln Center. I mean, it really is about just playing and making music. I guess the difference with us is that I could always check into a hotel as Robert McDuffie. He had to change his name and
That
check
took a
in.
long time.
What's one of the favorite names that y'all used for hotel rooms?
Oh, I had a bunch over the years.
Mike Bass.
No, I was never that.
You
Should've
were
been.
Mike Bass.
No.
You were at the Four Seasons in Houston. I couldn't get you unless it was Mike Bass.
Somebody must have stuck that in there. I didn't really
Okay.
use that one, but that is
All
funny. The best one, okay, I'll tell you the best one ever. Last name, capital D, E, capital M, A-N-N. First name, Hugh.
Okay.
So you have to say it.
Hugh the man.
Oh, that's funny. Did you guys ever lean on each other over the years, just talking about your different lives in music?
When we our careers in past diverged. Bobby went off to Juilliard and didn't see him again for a while. And then we reconnected in Kansas City and just, like we'd never been apart, and started talking about things we'd done. I mean, obviously, as our mothers kept us apprised. they were quite happy to inform each other of their son's success. So that sort of kept the
They need their own book, don't they?
It's just like
probably
one up. They try to one up each other.
probably that would be a fun book. But no, they were sweet, lovely women, both of them, and so we kept up with each other through that as much as anything else. And then when we reconnected, we started talking about what we'd been through.
Well, Mike was sweet enough to come to a soiree, an event where we were basically raising funds to buy a crazy expensive violin, forming a limited partnership. And Mike came and he generously agreed to be part of the partnership. And so Mike, even though he was in the middle of, at the peak of of the R.E.M. touring and recording, he took that time out and became a part owner of the violin that I still play today.
We're, of course, talking about that 1735 violin, Bobby. And I love that your website, here's the bio for Bobby, and here's the bio for the violin.
Yeah.
But investing in that, Mike, you were really investing in him, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that Bobby was going to play it for the next 25 years was the reason to do it, not for the hope for an expected return, but just to help my friend maximize his career.
Well, I'll always be grateful for that. And then when we do sell it, you can take me to dinner.
I will take you to dinner.
Bobby, a few years back, you and Mike and former Allman Brothers Band, current Rolling Stones keyboardist Chuck Leavell collaborated on A Night of Georgia Music, which was a collection of songs that y'all gathered to play with an orchestra by R.E.M., Otis Redding, Ray Charles, Allman Brothers Band, Outkast, B-52s, and then separately you performed the concerto. That performance, which aired on Georgia Public Broadcasting, won you guys Emmy Awards, regional Emmy Awards for that, so congrats on that performance. But I want to talk, Bobby, about what you've been doing at Mercer University, and that is the Robert McDuffie Center for Strings, which you established there in 2004 and have been growing the program ever since. It's like a world-class conservatory, a very small group of select students from around the globe, really, come to play and learn and be part of ensembles playing classical music here in Macon.
Well, we have accomplished more than we thought we ever would at the beginning. At the very beginning, it was just to add something beautiful to the city of Macon. That's how the whole thing started. The former president of Mercer came and said, what would it take to put Macon and Mercer on the map in music? And so he brought me down as a professor, and I realized that the best way to put Macon on the map and to have a significant and meaningful school here would be to bring in the most famous and highly regarded performers from around the country. But on the other hand, that's still not completely satisfying because there are way too many conservatories in America already. There's more supply than demand. There are not enough jobs for students. With what's going on in classical music today, it's not in great shape. But I feel the ones that can really save the classical music model are the musicians themselves. And if they understand how the business works, how nonprofit governance works, they can get to a point where they can determine how their music is played and heard. And they'll be the ones with their livelihoods on the line. And when your livelihood is on the line, you'll do things that'll keep you busy and at work.
I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, not that far from Athens, Atlanta, Macon. We all grew up with these towns up and down, for me, it's up and down Interstate 85. And so much music that meant a lot to us came from our region. And especially with Night of Georgia Music and the Mills Concerto, these things have a Southern flavor. It's a little bits and pieces of that, what we all heard growing up. And now Mike with Howl Owl Howl, featuring Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish and Steve Gorman from the Black Crows. Might as well just call that thing the Interstate 85 band. I'm like, well, maybe not, because Hootie and the Blowfish from Columbia, that's Interstate 20. But you get what I'm saying. But it's that North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia connection from Carborough all the way on down. So why is it important for people to know and understand about that scene that we have? Not just Georgia, not just the Georgia of the past, the Otis Reddings and the Little Richards, but also the things that came from R.E.M. This whole scene built around you guys and the next generation that came from that.
Well, the South gets dumped on for a lot of reasons, some justified, some not. And we spent a fair amount of energy over the years emphasizing our Southern origins just to prove that that a lot of those stereotypes were not true, and the ones that were not the majority of the people here. So we worked really hard to prove to people that there was a lot going on, a lot of fun, creative intelligence down here, and one way we did that was to take a lot of bands with us on tour that were from down here, and we talked them up and promoted them, and and the fact that Howl Owl Howl is now Darius and me and Steve Gorman from the Black Crowes, that wasn't intentional. We were just friends. I'd known Darius since 1990 probably, and Steve for less than that, but a long time. And so it just makes sense. It makes sense, and we play 10 new songs and a few of our old band songs, and the South has great music, the best in the country as far as I'm concerned.
I just like the literature. I heard them in New York on Tuesday. It was awesome. It was just awesome, packed, and there was just like this sea of humanity and one wave just singing. It was just like.
What day is it? Today is Monday, right?
You got me.
Saw them on Tuesday of last week in New York.
So it was Saturday night. So yeah, it's Saturday at the Variety Playhouse.
Oh, you went? You were there?
I was
Oh,
there.
great.
Music is so needed right now. I mean, it sounds trite, but we've had to say it so many times out loud over the past however many years, but especially this year. I found myself having different waves of nostalgia for different before times, some before the current political stuff, before COVID, before different things. But do you think really music is more important than ever? And people are discovering it all the time, but maybe not developing relationships with music like we all did growing up. We literally have relationships with a song. Music is one of my family members, right? But why is it so important right now?
I'll let you take the first. Well,
music has always been ultra important. Right now, is it more so? I think the world is a scary enough place where people need an escape. They need some relief. People's personal investment in music is different than it was. It's easy to say lesser, simply because it's so easy, it's so accessible, it's available right the second you want it, you have it. Part of the great attachment to music that people used to have was that you had to wait until it was given to you or sold to you for you to have it, or wait till it came out on the radio so you could listen to it and then go buy it. Now it's just instantly available. So that to me thins the depth of the attachment to the music. That doesn't mean people don't fall in love with bands and songs. They do. I've seen it. I see it every time I play. So that's still there. And it's true. These are fraught times, but all times are fraught times. So there's always a need for an escape. There's always a need to go find something that takes your mind off the troubles and makes you happy.
What age did we become when we learned that all times are fraught times? That's what I want.
When the
almost
when the frontal lobe finally developed and Hertz would let you rent a car. Well, music definitely heals. I mean, I think that's. I go back to JFK's funeral when Samuel Barber's Adagio for Strings was played there. It's such a poignant piece, and it doesn't matter whether you're a music aficionado or whatever, that there's something about that piece that just makes you stop in your tracks. It was also the soundtrack to Platoon. It's powerful out there, and say what you want to about Taylor Swift, what her tour did was bring fathers and their daughters together. And how fabulous is that? To bring families closer. And music was her music. Say what you will about it. It was the kind of event that was, that was very powerful for many families around America.
I respect her. I don't crave listening to her. I think she's talented and fun. I think her role is maybe more important than the song.
Right. It became
to us,
else.
Of course. Yeah, to us, that would be the case. I mean, obviously, we as adults can see what her influence is and what she's doing for kids and families and all of that. But to a 14-year-old girl, there's nothing more important than her last record or her second record.
Or a 34-year-old Harvard-trained lawyer.
There's some of those.
That's my daughter. So that's
good.
Yeah, good.
Well, thank you guys so much for this. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for coming to Macon.
The Sweet Song Podcast is hosted by Kristi Wooten, that's me, and produced by Sustenance Group, LLC. Special thanks to this week's guest, Mike Mills and Robert McDuffie. Be sure to check out full episodes wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe and like on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Visit Pure Pop for Now, people, for more information, and we'll see you next week.